Thanks, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to all of you on the panel. Mr. Stretch, last night, 19 major civil rights organizations sent a letter to Facebook which explained their, quote, deep concern regarding ads, pages, and hateful content on your platform used to divide our country, and in particular to promote anti-Muslim, anti-black, anti-immigrant, anti-LGBTQ animus. The organizations referenced a number of examples that had previously been reported by the media, including a Russian Facebook account that, quote, not only promoted anti-immigrant messaging online, but also managed to organize an in-person anti-refugee rally in Twin Falls, Idaho in August of 2016. The letter also detailed a reported situation in which, quote, Facebook offered its expertise to a bigoted advocacy group by creating a case study testing different video formats and advising on how to enhance the reach of the group's anti-refugee campaign in swing states during the final weeks of the 2016 election. What is your response to this letter? Is it true that Facebook assisted in an anti-Muslim effort?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. So let me start by saying that the content that we've produced to this committee and that was run by these fake accounts masquerading as real, authentic identities is vile. And it's vile for precisely the reason you say. It's particularly exploitative insofar as it was directed at groups that have every reason to expect us to protect the authenticity of debate on Facebook. In terms of what we're doing in response, we are reviewing and tightening our ad policies, and there's two particular changes that we're making. One is we are tightening our content guidelines as they apply to ads with respect to violence. So much of the content that is so disturbing involves threats of violence towards communities, and that has no place on Facebook, and it certainly has no place.
Regardless of source?
Yes, regardless of source. Regardless of source, exactly. We want our ad tools to be used for political discourse, certainly, but we do not want our ad tools to be used to inflame and divide.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to get to. As I read that set of facts to you, the trigger word was a Russian Facebook account, at which point most of us would say, hold the phone. What is Russia doing promoting anti-immigrant, anti-refugee sentiment in the United States? Now take the word Russian out of it. A Facebook account that promotes anti-immigrant, anti-refugee sentiment in the United States. I don't know if you would characterize that as vile. I sure would. These groups would. What I'm trying to get to is this. I think we can all, when we start with the word Russian, fake, trolls, bots, so forth, we know the starting point is a trigger. Something needs to be done. The second thing we know is if it includes a reference to a political candidate or a party, then it's in a category 2 of electioneering. I'll let Senator Klobuchar address that issue. I'm sure she will in a moment or two. And then the third question gets into what you characterize in this case as vile content. How are you going to sort this out consistent with the basic values of this country when it comes to freedom of expression?
It's a great question. I don't suggest it's easy. We do value personal expression, and when that is the purpose of your service, there is going to be content that is objectionable, even beyond objectionable. Where we're really trying to draw the line is with respect to advertising content and using our tools to promote messages and promote pages.
These are all ads. I'm going to stipulate that at the beginning. They're all ads.
Yes.
They are being purchased to affect an outcome of an election or a voter's sentiment or to mislead voters. I'd like to ask your colleagues to address this as well. Mr. Edgett, what would Twitter say to that question?
Those ads have no place on Twitter, and our ads policies actually address those things. So if there's inflammatory content that some even would find to be upsetting, that's not the type of ad we want running on Twitter. We distinguish between organic tweets, which are those that you or I or anyone here today can tweet from their phone or computer, from advertising. advertising are tweets that are serving to someone who hasn't asked to follow the content, hasn't asked to be a part of that conversation. So we draw a very hard line on making sure advertisements are not inflammatory.
I certainly commend you and endorse that, but agree with Senator Sass that when it comes to drawing those lines, it's a challenge for us, and we do it for a living. And I think it'll be a challenge for you as well. Mr. Salgado, would you like to comment on that?
I agree that it's a real challenge. We have policies to keep our ads and the high quality, and the proposals we've made and that we'll be implementing around election ad transparency, I think, reflect that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.